Hello, everybody, and welcome to a memorial episode of How'd We Get Here. Tonight, we're going to be looking back and celebrating the life, the work, and our friendship with Sam Blanchard, otherwise known as Schlepzig. He, man, we'll get into it. He was a lively character. He was a good friend, and man, Joe, do you remember how you first got into like Schlepzig, man? Like, well,
It was through you, actually. You were, I think you backed. I don't know if you saw him through Kickstarter for his chicken. Why'd the chicken cross the street or Red? Which one was it you backed first? Red.
Red, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it was for that one, and then you're like, oh, you got to check this guy out. And then I started following him on Instagram and Twitter. Maybe I was more on Twitter back then, and just loved his art and his style, and just his love for indie comics and all the creators in it. He was a huge supporter of anyone that was into making comics. Like, he'd give you the time of day. Like, it never. I don't think he ever thought of anyone as a nuisance or a burden. He gave everyone the time of day. So, I mean, big or small, like for him, it didn't matter. If you're making comics, that's what counted.
And also joining us tonight, we have the big star himself. We got James Edward Clark in the house,
Hey,
and
everybody.
yeah, you actually had the pleasure of working with him in a somewhat capacity.
Yeah, I mean, like, you have these online relationships with people. So, like, I've never really talked to him, I'm embarrassed to say, but he was a big fan of mine. Like, you talked about, he was on Instagram. I just kind of started talking to him because he would do fan art of, Tales to Enlighten. I think he did, like, maybe a Sammy Destino piece or two
Mhm.
over the years. Actually, I think he did some pieces that ended up in the first volume of Tales to Enlighten, and Matt had him do a whole short story for the second volume.
For the
And it was
brick that is Tales to Enlighten.
this
The New
real
York phone book.
giant tome. Yeah, this giant tome of a book here, right smack dab in the middle. You got like a Schlipstick story here.
Yeah.
It's really, I think he just kind of started sending me fan art out of the blue. He was just cranked this stuff out, and it's great.
Mhm.
It's just I think he might have been one of the first people to ever do fan art of any of the characters I'd ever drawn.
Yeah.
So it was, it's just really cool to see people kind of get into what you're doing and, kind of responding to the characters you make and
Yeah.
doing their own sort of version.
Yeah. He was quick too.
Oh yeah, well, this is like be working on his tablet. It looks like, and he just like cranked this stuff out. He would do pages and pages of this stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did some fan art for Piss and Apocalypse too. We did Inktober last year together.
Okay.
Uncle Jerk, he put it together, and Jerk, Rowan, he put two of my books on there. He did the Tales to Enlighten and Piss and Apocalypse, and he did pieces for both of that last year. I put those up in my stories on Instagram. Yeah, it's a real bummer. Like I didn't really know him too well, obviously, but I've been hearing updates of his health for a while. Him or his wife be posting it. Just
Yeah.
didn't pass. It's a real bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Took the wind out of my sails that day for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because I was hearing that he was getting better. He actually kind of posted on Instagram him like
Yeah.
getting thumbs up from the hospital. So like I was getting all ready to ask him to come back on the show when he felt better. And the next thing I know, our friend Flochi hits us up in the chats because he's still on Facebook, and he's like, "Did you hear about Schlepzig?" And I'm like, "No." So I went on Instagram, I went on Twitter looking for it, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, "Where did you hear this?" And like he started sending me stuff from the Ringside trilogy, and from his wife that on Facebook, and I was just like gutted because we were just about to go on live with was it with Steph?
Steph Zume.
And I was just
Yeah.
like, God damn, like I was crying, like I had to like suck it up and get all excited to hype up Steph's book on Kickstarter because I'm just like, I already it was like it was something that I already had planned, but it was pretty hard to do that night to tell you the truth. You know what I mean? I was rough.
Did you guys interview him?
Couple times.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of which,
we got clips.
Yeah, we have clips. That's why we're running a little late because clips are always longer to upload than pictures. So I'll run the first one. I I put together just a few random snippets from conversations we had with him. So I'll run the first one now.
I've been using Shlepzig for a long, long time. Yeah, probably 30 years or more. Patreon out there, buy me a coffee once in a while. That would be awesome. Yeah. And like, yeah, if I have 2 subscribers, I might put stuff up there more often.
Just tried to do a fisheye drawing that was accurate, like not just a stylized one, like that guy does.
Yeah,
it's impossible. That's fake.
Oh,
that's dope.
That's gorgeous.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
In Canada, we're like, well, how can I get it? It's like, well, I'm happy to sell it to you, but I'm gonna, have to charge you like $25 for a $5 or $7 comic. Because, it's gonna be, $17 in shipping to get it into Canada. I'm gonna spend $30 on one of my comics. I want to get most of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Straight up.
I'd really like to be the guy getting the biggest share of it. Oh, but it's Canada.
But it's Canada.
I'm thinking the same thing.
I mean, you're going to spend $75 on a $5 comic with shipping.
Oh, isn't Canadian? I see. I'm like, feel a little prepared for this episode. Like oh shit, he's from Canada too.
No. He's from
Jersey.
New Jersey. Yeah. But he was talking about, because he put a lot of his books up on like this one in red. He put up through the Amazon or Kindle print on demand. So that's what he was talking about. So he was like, he had some friends in Canada that wanted his book, but he felt guilty about mailing it to them and like charging them $15 shipping, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, you can ask about the shipping to Canada.
Yeah.
Everybody. I did a store signing today, and everybody there was sort of asking how they could get a copy of Tales to Enlighten. I'm like, you got to pay through the ass with shipping.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he offers the PDF, so you can always
get
do
the
PDF if you wanted to. Which, I mean, unless you don't like reading digital, but
Cookie's saying that Shlepzig was the first artist to actually kind of color over to his table at NYCC. It's really nice. And that was Sam, dude. Like, he was just such a animated and charismatic character. And yeah, dude, Joe flashed red earlier, and that's how I got to know him. Like, I remember I was looking on Kickstarter, kind of thumbing through, and I saw this thing being advertised as a 24-hour comic, and I haven't like heard of one of those since the 90s. I remember like Ted McKeever and some of those guys used to do them back in the day, the challenge like once a year. And like and Sam, he was always very modest. He would tell you, I didn't actually do it in 24 hours. I did it in 30. And I'm like, that's still incredible, Sam. You deserve like the credit still. But I mean, in this book, Red, it is so much fun. It is still probably one of my favorite things I got off a Kickstarter. You know what I mean? Like, I could count on one hand like my favoriteest things, and this is one of them. And like, it's got that limited art style, limited palette. His art style just shines, and like we said, he was able to work so quick. And like Joe showed in that snippet, like, he drew that fish-eyed city view while we were talking. He was like, we were all just literally sitting there watching him kind of doodle away, and then he pulls it up, and we're just like,
it was funny that he picked that to draw, because he started drawing it before Aaron even started talking about, because we're talking about Guillaume Marsh, Carmen, and how some of the shots had like that fisheye lens on the landscape, right? Effect. And then he was saying, like, I tried it and it was impossible. And it was just funny because he happened to have his drawing done of a fisheye landscape, and he just pops it up on the screen. It was just hilarious. And I remember seeing Aaron and Adrian's face just like, fuck. Like, this guy is just fucking schooling us big time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just said I always assumed he did everything digital on like a tablet because he would crank it out so fast. He would do it all real, or...
Well, he did like collage stuff. He'd do a lot of stuff, and then he'd scan it in, kind of like you do your covers sometimes. You know how you crop it out? Well, he just the same idea, but he just scans it into the computer and then
Yeah.
lays
Like
it
I
out.
figured everything was digital, but yeah, it looks like a lot of the effects you were showing the pages. Those are obviously digital, but yeah,
Yeah.
you would actually
Yeah.
draw it out. That's
Like,
crazy.
like his coloring and
Yeah, the
the
coloring,
tones
yeah,
and all that. He
absolutely.
liked doing it digital because it was a lot easier. But
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm the same way too. Yeah.
And with the background details, he'd kind of like figure out like ways to cheat that digitally and kind of sneak it in. You know what I mean? With his
Yeah, he's got like a pattern
stuff.
there that's digital. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had to put a video together because he had two passions in life. One was making comics, and the other was fencing. So
Yeah.
I put together a little thing. He coached kids in high school and stuff. So I put together a little video of him talking about his passion for fencing and working with the kids. So I'll play that one.
At about 30 years in a corporate box, just do I refresh the Wall Street Journal all day, or do I distract myself doing something else? So I started drawing, really in earnest, just to like kind of maintain my sanity. And so I kind of jumped ship, set the engineering thing aside, and just did the two things that I love. And so I teach the sport of fencing. I'm very passionate about the sport. I love the sport. And it was a real lifesaver for me, after I recovered from cancer. So, it's a very life-affirming thing. And, I encourage everyone to give it a try, because nothing really relieves stress like being able to stab the bejesus out of teenagers. Like with my high school team, we're like kind of half varsity team, half Doctor Who, Harry Potter fan club. I love my kids. They're the best.
Yeah.
They're my people. It rewards problem solving and thinking. Don't need your fastest guy. Don't need your strongest guy. I need your smartest athlete. That's what I get, because I get the kids that don't really fit in with like the basketball team or the track team. Or, we just have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My job is to get these kids to learn a sport, love a sport, and enjoy coming to practice every day. Love the kids, love them learning the sport, love the whole process.
Yeah, he really did too. Like he would talk about that almost as much as he did comics, man. And he really wanted to do a comic about fencing. And that's kind of the real tragedy here, is that he was kind of at the beginning of his actual artistic career and getting known. And like he'd already fought in this disease a couple of times. So like it's still really sad though, because like
It's their go around. It's rough, man.
Yeah.
You were saying, yeah.
But he still had so much he wanted to do. You know what I mean? And then that's the tragedy, in my opinion. He really loved the parallel pilot pins. So yeah, that's how he did it, man. Like more power to him too. Like I've tried inking, and like, oh man, like it's so easy to mess up and like ruin the whole thing really fast. When you start doing with pin. And he was incredible to watch, man, because I don't know if he had that problem. He looked like all of his lines were deliberate and just so easy, like to watch him work. Hanjo?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen him draw a few things here and there, and he's fast. His style, like his style is loose, but he could tighten it up if he wanted to, but he just loved to just crank it out. Like he loved to just get pages out and get it done. And yeah, it was really fun to watch him work live, like when he was on that time, and just blowing people's minds, right, about how quick he could crank that out and how good it looked. So it was just incredible. And you could see like he just has a big heart, right, working with the kids and just donating all that time. And like he said, I couldn't show the whole thing, but like he said, like he was in a privileged position where he worked a good paying job for a good chunk of his life for like 30 years. So he was able to just let it all go and just focus on, helping those kids, like coaching them and teaching them how to fence and just draw comics without having to worry about a day job. Right. And just really enjoy his later years. And I'm really happy he got to do it, because, it just goes to show you how short life is, because I don't even think he I don't think he was even 60 yet. He was in his late 50s when he passed away. So, I mean, you always say tomorrow's another day, but man, I think good on him for, you know, taking the bull by the horns and doing something he loved while he still was able-bodied to do it, you know?
And I mean, he had such an original looking style. I mean, like, you could make comparisons to Mahfood, maybe, but
I
like,
love Ashley Wood, I'd say.
yeah, a lot of Ashley Wood, but like, I'm not sure if I've seen Ashley Wood like do all that black and white. You know what I mean? Usually, like, his stuff's colored and painted and stuff like that. But like Shlepzig, like, he was just doing it with pen, and I don't even know if he did pencil first. You know, like, but yeah, like, he was a huge fan of Woods, though. I remember him mentioning him by name quite a few times when we would talk to him about influence and
Yeah, I
stuff.
love Ashley Wood too. When I first saw his style, I thought he was a big Ashley Wood fan for sure.
Yeah.
I have Ben Templesmith in there too.
I have another little video I put together because he used to do, you know how you always have those monthly, like Inktober, stuff like that. Well, he liked to do the 30 Days of April, and there was a reason why he did that. So I'll play the clip, and he talks about it a little bit here.
One of my favorites that you did was your month of April on Instagram with all your different renditions of April O'Neil.
Oh, the 30 Days of April.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. As a Ninja Turtles fan, I ate that up.
Oh, that was a ton of fun. Most of those I did is just like straight jams, pen on paper. There's no layouts, there's no sketches, there's I just grabbed the pen and started jamming. Fellow that had cancer or something, and the 30 Days of April was a thing. He publishes this book of like all the best like 30 Days of April each year, and it helps like kind of with his ongoing medical costs.
Like, paying it forward, man. Like, using his art to help somebody else out with cancer. Like, that was the man. You know what I mean? That's why we love him so much, and why we particularly are going to really, really miss Shlepzig, man. Like, he really did care so much. You know what I mean?
It's too bad. I have a couple other videos, but they're too big to load. It says 200 megabytes is the biggest, and they're like 220.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
No snap.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
You can screen share them. Go down to present and video file, and you can just load them up down there.
Present, like we used to do the screen share.
Yeah, you can you'll see video file, and you can upload them there really fast.
Doing it live. We're doing it live.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's do which one? He was a big fan of you want to talk about the ringside, the kayfabe group?
Yeah, why not?
Kayfabe, yeah.
All right, let's do that video. Is it working?
Yeah, it's down there.
All right, there we go. Oh, cool. So I could just
Talk
play
a little bit
like
about the cartoonist kayfabe group, and the whole thing you were telling us about with the community you have going there with up and coming guys.
So, I mean, most people are familiar with Jeb Rugg, Ed Piskor, Tom Scaly do cartoonist kayfabe on YouTube. They do that, and then around it, a Facebook group, cartoonist kayfabe ringside seats, sprung up. The Facebook group is probably the best comics group I'm in online. It's just people sharing their love of comics, and the ringside thology we do. That's hosted by one of the admins, Eli Schwab, who has a bunch of stuff. He's an amazing guy. We have like a theme each month.
What were some of your favorite themes that you guys have done so far?
Let's see. I didn't think that I would like it. Last month's Liefeld name generator theme was a lot of fun. Yeah. So very much like whatever a 13-year-old would think was just the coolest thing in the world, or somebody naming their child in Oregon. All the characters are like Shadow Wolf and Night Fire Strike elf blades. I mean, just, crazy stuff like that. So we did that, and I really enjoyed it. I came up with a really great piece out of that from Shadow Ice Strike. Was my character's name. My first one, the Outlaw Comics one, I think was one of my favorites too. Did a heavy metal movie theme that I had suggested. That was a lot of fun. There's some really talented guys in that group. It's not like just pros. There are a lot of people that are learning as artists, and they're just working to improve. They're doing better and better. It's a great environment. Everyone is like really supportive. We just have a good time. We draw, we make a giant comic, and it's out there. So I love those guys. Go to Cartoonist Kayfabe, and you'll see so many people that are so very talented. There's Philip Ben Perkins, amazing guy. And then Chris Anderson's established. He's up there. He was in the last issue of Heavy Metal. He's on there. He's been, really helpful, super great mentorship. Eli Schwab is out there. He's, editor extraordinaire, making his own comics. There's just so many people there. I really enjoyed Jason Lapidus from Toronto, his Peregrines stuff that's coming out from his press. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. It's fantastic. And,
Yeah, Cartoonist Kayfabe, Ringside Seats is another one that's kind of falling apart too.
Yeah, it is it.
I think they changed it They changed the whole name, trying to distance themselves after everything went down the head. And then, I haven't been on there in a while, but I'm not sure what the status of the whole thing is. But I think it's kind of atomized, from what I can tell.
Yeah, but back in the day, it was going strong, and
they did a few different anthologies. A lot of the people who are in this, they end up doing stuff for Cartoonist Kayfabe stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, I like those drawing groups like that. It's kind of cool to see it. I one that I just joined. They have a Discord. Was Ink and Drink Long Beach.
Yeah.
Those guys are pretty cool. They share a lot of stuff, and they
and Papa.
Papa, I was just gonna say,
yeah, and I think it's kind of the same idea as what maybe Ringside was back in the day when Shlepzig was on there, and
I think a lot of the people from that kind of branched out from
there
Ringside KC. Yeah, like I'm in that Discord too. And
I saw some of your stuff on there.
Yeah. I usually throw stuff up there when I can't remember to post it everywhere.
One of the cool things following his Kickstarters, like I was able to get PDFs for a lot of his Ringside Trilogy shorts, and like they're all so much fun. Like Joe flashed up, like he put out a trade paperback pretty much of like his work from 2020 to 2021, and this kind of continues with that, but like he messes around with Wonder Woman a little bit, which was pretty fun. He had a whole George Perez versus Neil Adams thing with that. Like he really loved comics, man. He would get into just the minutia of it. We also got his Image versus Tanager that he did, which I remember him talking to us. I was like a really something he was really looking forward to doing, because like he was not just talking about comics with that one, he was also talking about philosophy that he was into. And man, he just got into stuff, you know what I mean? And it was really, really interesting to just keep checking out.
Yeah. There's a few funny stories he had from cons and stuff. I put a little clip together because he started going to cons, and we have a few friends that met him at some cons, and he was always up for talking to readers and stuff like that. Let's see. I just do the same thing, Johnny?
Yeah, go ahead. Just load it up.
Load it up that way?
Yeah.
Cons. Let's do the cons video. Yeah.
Going to Comic Cons this last year. I hadn't been to a Comic Con since '86 prior to that.
Ninja Turtles was new then, man. That's awesome.
Comic show. And they were completely different back then. It was not the kind of spectacle it is today. And I was at a New Jersey Comic Con, and some new young fans came up to to watch, and they like, here's like the unnecessary panty shot that they really appreciate. And it's like, hey, it's completely necessary panty shot.
Yeah.
It's completely necessary. What do you mean?
This book's about.
We had a big laugh after that. There were a bunch of like great kids that came back to my table like 100 times. I love them. They were the best. They loved it so much. It's just gratifying to see people react to your thing. I was at New York Comic Con, and
cool.
There's that look. They walk by. They walk by and they look at your booth, and they look up, and look down, and look up. And it's like, I do not see any MCU here. And I don't see my favorite anime here. So I hope you didn't see me. I usually like trying to just get away. And so the thing is, like, when I'm at cons, is like I gotta go into like full like carnival, like Carney Barker mode. Step right up to Shlepzig's magical cure for cancer. A nickel. Who gets the weird like requests at cons? I get like the weirdest things to draw.
Oh, speaking of Norton, speaking of Dean, I'm pretty sure he asked you for something weird at Comic-Con. That's what
was it?
I think it was something about pee.
Dean in a bucket of piss.
Yes.
Yes, that's it. Fucking Dean, man. He knew right away too when Elle said, "Yeah, someone asked you for something weird, something about piss." He knew it right away. Yeah, Dean loved it. That's the first time Dean had met him at New York Comic Con, and he was a huge fan ever since then. So
yeah, I've been in contact 86. I was born in 86. No, he said, they were joking about, piss. I'm like, where's this going?
Yeah. Well, we have a friend, Dean. He's into all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah. Norton. You probably know him. Norton St. Clair. Yeah. So he loves all the indie stuff. He's a huge indie fan. Yeah. We get along well with him.
He's dead on about the Carnival Barker stuff. Like, you got to corral people over. You make eye contact. You got to, like, bring them over and do the whole pitch and all this song and dance. For sure, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it was just funny hearing him talk, and then he was on, and right away, like, Dean had told us the story, so it was just great to see that he totally remembered Dean. But I suppose when you make a weird request like that,
I've got some weird requests for stuff.
Oh yeah, like what?
Like last week, somebody asked me to draw their wife naked and stuff like that. But that wasn't the first time either. So
there you go.
I post all the life drawing stuff. And
yeah,
it's so beautiful. Can you draw my wife? I'm like, if you pay me, okay.
That kind of brings me to he liked his cheesecake, and like a lot of his art was cheesecakey. He had like nuns and mini skirts and stuff like that, but he was kind of old fashioned because like he had like a quote unquote not safe for work Instagram, but like when you go through it, it's kind of really not that unsafe for work. You know what I mean? When I thought that was always kind of sweet about him. You know what I mean? Even his racy stuff was, I mean, it was pretty acceptable. You know what I mean?
He drew a lot of titties. Like, there are even here, there are a lot of titties. I think that's maybe why you like Tales to Enlighten, because you got Maggie. She had the nun habit and everything.
Yeah, he loved his dirty nuns, man. Like that must have came from childhood or something. I'm not sure if he was.
Maybe he's Catholic or something.
Yeah, Catholic schoolboy.
I always hated drawing Maggie just because the habit wasn't any good. And then like her eye, she had the
robotic eyes.
Yeah, the robotic eyes. So I couldn't even like make her emote or anything. So she was like probably my least favorite character to draw.
Yeah. So, just if people want to pick up, you can still pick up his Amazon straight to print stuff on Amazon. You can go order it. I went and checked. It's still up, so you can still get these two books straight from Amazon if you want. Red and his volume, the COVID collection. Yeah, so anyone that wants to check out, this is great. This one, actually, I was surprised.
Yeah, the COVID collection rocks, man.
Yeah, it's loose print on top of that on the inside, so it's really cool. Like when I saw it was newsprint, like I mean, I love newsprint, right? And you just don't have it anymore. So, except for it's funny we have you on, James, because you like doing the matte finish with yours, like the and pissant. You know, you have the matte finish too, which is my favorite finish for paper when it comes to comics.
Yeah, we're getting that fact checked in real time here. Say it's not a Catholic, but I told him story tales from my childhood.
Knuckles whacked by a nun. Like that's what my mom told me about. Like she went to Catholic school when she was little, and it sounded terrifying, man. Like,
yeah, I just don't remember. Yeah, Blues Brothers. I remember that. Penguin always say them.
Did you want to keep going with the videos, Johnny? I think I have one or two more. I think.
Yeah, why not, man? Like they're bringing back good times. You know what I mean? Just showing his love for, you know, just talking about comics, you know, and being a comic creator. Like he embodied it, in my opinion. Like he might not be known by many people, which is a shame, but like he was one of the most real ones I've ever met.
All right, I have a video here where he talks about two of his works that he did in a couple anthology projects.
And Thompson, perhaps, or
yeah, Jonathan Thompson. Yeah, the burn residue dude, Game of Doubles guy. Yeah.
He and I just did a short together. So.
Oh, really?
And it's a 6-page short that's that we did together for Wizard Magazine, which is WIZERD. I mentioned Eli Schwab before. He's putting out like this, kind of tribute to the old Wizard magazines. Last I heard, it's over 300 pages.
Whoa, that's a big book.
It's a big book, and I've seen a bunch of stuff, but we did this thing together, and it was Jonathan and I have been wanting to work together for a long time. We've been talking about stuff, and we've got a few things kind of on the back burner. Open Call for Wizard came up, and we were talking about it, and he said, well, I've got this script that's been sitting around. Maybe we can do something with that. And so he sent it to me. It was a 12-page script. And I talked to Eli about it, and he said, well, I can't give you 12 pages, but, I can give you 6 if you can cook it down. We just ran with it. And, it just kind of turned into like this jam thing that came out. And then we're really happy with it. It's very, very cool. Cosmic Lion Productions is where you can buy Wizard.
Cool.
Then there's another really cool project that's coming up. It's really cool. We all read Weapon X, right? Barry Windsor Smith, one of the best Wolverine stories ever. This was, just a love letter to that. 55 artists. We all picked a few pages and just recreated that, like the entire Weapon X story, but it's different artists doing like, every 2-3 page blocks. I really enjoyed like dissecting Barry Windsor Smith's narratives. It's an incredible production. There's some amazing people in it. I mean, just incredibly creative, really cool. Through 100% Comics. Or Weapon X, all the proceeds are going to another benefit. 100% Comics also does a comics grant, and some of the proceeds may be going into the comics grant. It all goes back into supporting the community. These people love comics, and they love comic creators, and they're trying to help everybody out. It's just so nice to be in a group of people of like-minded, nerds and geeks that like to draw cool pictures and do cool stuff.
Yeah, the Heavy Traffic is the book that he did with Jonathan Thompson for the Wizard magazine, and that's actually where I got the my thumbnail that I'm using tonight for my icon. Is from that short story with the weird looking Batman type guy down there at the bottom. And though his pages from Weapon X, I'm not sure if you can get the whole Weapon X anymore, but his pages are available in that COVID collection that Joe flashed up a little earlier. With a lot of other stuff, like the preview for his book Chicken, Why Did the Chicken Cross the Road, that sadly never came out, but we did get a lot of other chicken adjacent stories that he put out through the Ringside Trilogy PDFs. And man,
great movie. Man, great movie.
Yeah, the Repo Man chicken poster is so cool. I have PDFs for most of this stuff. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he'd like me to share some of it. So, like, if you want to try to get in contact with me, and I can probably send you the PDFs for like his sketchbooks and stuff like that. At least, you know what I mean. I'm not sure if giving away Red would be particularly good, but like his little PDFs and stuff, I think that he would be happy if more people saw that. And there was just so much just cool stuff in all of them. Like
The impression I got from him, he was just jazz people would be into his work and checking his stuff out and sharing it, and it's kind of the passion for the medium and everything's the impression I got.
And a ton of his shorts, I mean, you can still find and read on Instagram. On his just go to schlepzig.comics on Instagram, and like his Yo-Yo Joe, his G.I. Joe shorts are all still up on there. And one of my particular favorites that is a reimagining he did of a European comic, I believe, from the 70s, La Chica Tigre. Oh man, like these are just so much fun. And like that was the thing, is like he loved weird obscure comics. Like one of his big influences was Ranks Xerox from Heavy Metal. Like that was like he was really into that. He did a short for that that's in the COVID collection. And as far as I know, Joe, like how much did you pay for the COVID collection in Canada? I think it was $12 for me to get it in the US when I bought my copy.
Roughly the same price here.
It was around $12.
Yeah, it's almost the exact same price. Yeah, Canadian.
It was shipping though.
What's that?
It was shipping though. How much was it?
Free. It was from Amazon.
Oh, Amazon.
That's why he was pushing that whole Amazon thing, because he was like, for a smaller book, like trying to mail floppies is like he was saying it wasn't very practical, right? Because people had to pay. Yeah, so that's why he liked that kind of Amazon thing. It made it affordable for people to get their hands on his books, right?
That's a good way around it. Yeah,
that's all he wanted. And I know another person that went that route with they're just starting out, and they just put their book out through that Kindle print on demand, and that's how they were selling their first books till they built up readership and stuff. Yeah.
And the quality from that print on demand, it's really good. I was surprised when I got the trade. Like it's really sturdy. The binding's really good, and the printing, like it all looks really nice, man. Right, Joe?
Yeah, it's a good quality. I mean, the perfect mount, because it was, and this is perfect mount, like he said. It's not the stitch, because it was 80 some odd pages, and I think the stitch binding, you can only go up to 70. So he was like 10 or 12 pages over. So it came with the perfect binding, which is great. Same here. I mean, this is a smaller one, and it's that odd size. What was the size?
Yeah, I forget the ratio that it came out in, because he was originally going to print it as kind of a Rizzo.
Well, if you want, I have a video that talks exactly about that whole situation.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
If you want to check it out, I could cue that up.
Yeah, because it was such a funny situation. Go ahead. It's better to hear it in his words.
Yeah, Red. Where's Red? Right here, Red. We're talking about Red. All right.
I'd set it up with the idea of it being kind of a training exercise. What the hell? Let me do this 24-hour comic thing, and I'll put something. This is something that will force me out of my comfort zone and make me really grow. In that, narrative, understanding narrative structure, which is way more complicated than you think it is. Got funded, more than I had expected it to, which is what which took me from doing like the ashcan size to doing the 8x10 size. For an engineer, I didn't think about the math, and I didn't realize that the aspect ratio would be completely different. Oh wait, just because it's twice the size of the sheet, it's not twice the size of the same direction. So have to be relayed out entirely. You'd think somebody who's taken as much math as I had would like know that right off the top of their head. It's like, oh yeah, that's a bad idea. Some of it, like in that first 24-hour run, didn't make any sense at all, because 2 a.m. dialogue is not necessarily the best dialogue you write. 3-year-old write this? What happened? Was he on crack? He was on crack when he wrote this. I did just lock myself in the room for 20
did you?
hours,
Okay.
with a bag of Twizzlers and a bunch of Coke and semi-erotic, hyper-violent, supernatural nun.
When I got to the end of that book, I was just like, yeah, dude, one of my cats would do that to me, without a doubt, dude.
It's kind of based on my cat Red, who's a jerk.
I love the way that turned and how it ended, and I was just like, it was unplanned, it was so untropey, it was perfect. It was something that a cat would literally do to people if they could.
Yeah, I mean, there are parts of it I cribbed like from Lovecraft, The Cats of Ulthar, his classic story, because the cats all live on the moon in The Cats of Ulthar, and they have like this very dual existence in and out of reality. So much fun. I don't know. Fun. It's all about fun.
It was fun to read too. So I mean, mission accomplished.
I absolutely adore Red. It is.
Oh, that's incredibly gratifying to hear, because you're like, again, from that artist's perspective, you're like, oh wow, this is probably just crap.
Hope he didn't use the same name for Lovecraft's cat in this book. I don't know if anyone gets that joke. Hopefully not. But it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that was his.
2 a.m. dialogue. Revising is your friend. Everybody, you want to revise stuff.
Yeah, well, that's
you always change it.
Yeah, that's what he got into. Like, he did the 24-hour thing, but then, like Johnny was saying, he spent probably another 30 hours just resizing it, cleaning it up. But the majority of that book was done in the 24 hours. Like, some of my favorite pages, he said, was just a question of resizing. Like, where is it? Like, all the stuff with like the really cool wallpaper in the back, stuff like that. It was just a question of resizing. He didn't really redraw any of it, and most of it was just the word bubbles and stuff fitting in properly, because he just slapped them in there super fast. So it was more tweaking, like more technical little
just tweak movement stuff around in Photoshop.
And seeing as how he was going to use that book that he did in the 24-hour comic, send it to Kickstarter, he wanted to,
we want it to be nice for people.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. If he's going to offer this to people, he wants it, to look good. People are spending money on it, so
of course, you always put your best foot forward for sure.
Yeah.
All the pages he drew with the cat, man, are just so good. And like, I'm pretty sure he said all that was in the 24-hour period too, right, Joe?
Yeah, there wasn't very much and he did other stories on top of this book. Like, he had some pages he completely threw out because they were, like you said, complete garbage, and but he didn't really redraw much. It was more like just like we said, the dialogue, fixing the dialogue and the word bubbles and all that stuff.
Well, from what I understand, like, until he had to resize it, he only spent 30 hours drawing and writing everything, which is still incredible. He'd always correct me when I'd call it a 24-hour comic. It's like, well, I'm like, but it's still impressive as hell.
I'm pretty sure like everyone cheats at 24-hour comics.
Yeah, you go in knowing like what you're gonna do. Probably have some basic layouts already kind of in mind and stuff.
Like, I've done some crazy marathon sessions that go for like hours and hours, and usually you have to go back the next day to clean it up a bit.
Yeah.
So, Joe, you got any favorite comics you'd like to share of his, or?
Well, I picked up a physical copy of the Weapon X, which is pretty cool. Like you said, it's a 50 some odd artists, and they just redo the whole. They redo the original Weapon X.
It's kind of like what you call it, the crappy Dark Knight or whatever they call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's the same company. It's
it's
100% Comics that did that as well. That's it. They redid year one, right? Or was that what they did? I think. Anyway, I think
Well, they did Dark Knight. I know they got crappy.
It was Dark Knight. Okay,
Yeah,
it was same idea, same company, and like you said, they have art grants that they hand out to artists and stuff that are trying to break into comics and help them out. So they a lot of the proceeds, they sell these and they use that for grants that they give out every year to artists and stuff. So I mean, it's a good it's a good workaround to be able to print bootleg stuff. You know, seeing as how it's not for profit, they're allowed to, I guess, technically by law, get around it that way.
I remember Sam also told us that they did a Batman '89 thing based off of the first Michael Keaton movie, and funny enough, like after they put that out, DC actually started doing that themselves. So I think these guys actually inspired DC, like, oh, we could actually do that and make money. People are interested in, following up on like the Lando Calrissian, Harvey Dent and stuff like that, and like, hell yeah, people love that movie. So. Yeah, I remember bringing that up to Sam, and he's like, "Well, they own the IP, so like we can't really like blame them for ripping us off, but yeah, they kind of probably did."
Yeah,
I mean, you're literally ripping off their character. Start playing the blame game. Who ripped off who?
Yeah.
But the copyright holder would win probably.
But I mean, it's done respectfully, right? They pretty much redid it page for page, right? Just and. Like everyone said, everyone's a huge fan of Barry Windsor Smith's work that worked on it. So it's more like paying homage to one of their heroes, right? Comic heroes. So,
I would be scared to even try to draw for that. You know what I mean? Like, because his art's just too unreal, and I'm too chicken scratch. You know what I mean? To attempt to try to do Barry Windsor Smith. So. I got mad props for Sam because his pages actually turned out really nice. I haven't seen what the rest of the book looks like, but I really dug what Sam did for that collection because it's in the COVID collection.
Yeah, that little. What else do they have?
It has that image thing that he was talking about with the Winter Snowblade guy that he made.
The grand design they did. He has the Octobriana thing, I think, that Jim Rugg put in as well in one of his things.
Yeah, he did a lot of Octobriana pieces. There's a bunch of that up on his Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I was going through it trying to find like pictures he done of my stuff. But yeah, it's all he had a bunch of Octobriana stuff up there.
Yeah, he was a fan. It lends itself. He liked drawing women, right? So and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
well, I like drawing women, so
yeah. They're beautiful. Why wouldn't you want to draw them?
like that book's also got chicken in it. The preview that he did for Monkeys Fighting Robots. It's got a short that he did for what's it? Discordia? Is that the name of that Lovecraftian book?
Discordia's in there.
And just some of the shorts that he did, like that Big Bad Wolf one, which it's cheesecakey, like you said. It's not raunchy like EPHK's was for sure.
The Choose Your Path.
Yeah, Choose Your Path.
Yeah, that one was pretty racy. You talk about not safe for work. That one was definitely not safe for work. Yeah, and he has a little bit of a connection to EPHK as well.
Yeah, they're buddies. I remember.
Through the scam, that comic scam that was running around at the beginning of the pandemic.
What's that called? Yeah, like Rob Liefeld actually sold fucking Youngblood to them for a little while, right? Like,
it was this
comics or something.
They put a script out saying it was from some big time writer at Marvel, and they were reaching out to all these artists to start like an anthologies, draw pages for them. And EPHK was one. There's a few other guys that kind of almost got took. Some of the guys, EPHK didn't, but some of the guys actually drew like a dozen pages for them and never got paid or anything. And they were trying to figure out why, like, what was the point of the scam,
people had a lot of free time during the beginning of the lockdowns, probably.
I don't know.
People, waste people's time.
Yeah. But like he was saying, like he never got too far deep into it because it kind of right away it kind of seemed fishy, and so
I always get paid
like
up front. Just take the money first. That's how I do it.
Probably something in Europe or something. They probably took the art and like redid the dialogue in another language and just printed it where like the artist would never know that it actually ran. Maybe India. I don't know, something like that.
It's hard to say.
It might have been they just had a scam. It just never panned out because people got wise to them. They weren't even able to finish it to the point where it's something presentable. Maybe.
Yeah,
that's a possibility.
Yeah, and well, because of that, they started a whole like online group of all the guys that got that they reached out to.
That got
started. Yeah, and they started a little community, and a lot of the artists met each other that way, and remained friends because of that. Yeah, kind of like a those victim groups there where you go and
and then they ended up making anthologies anyway together. So.
Yeah. So
I was always interested in checking out that Ringside Trilogy group, but like I got kicked off of Facebook like a decade ago, and I don't know how long like you're banned if you get kicked off. So I know
they just go back. I literally just swore it off yesterday because I posted up some of my life drawing and they took it down and said it's not appropriate. It's the first time that's happened. I'm just like, fuck this, I am done. I have literally not looked at my like Facebook feed since literally like 2015 or something, like when I was going through a breakup or something. I just broke the habit and I felt better off for it ever since. But I've just been posting my artwork on there when I remember to. So all the sites that I've joined over the years, I just post it wherever I can, just spam it out. But I think I'm done with Facebook now.
Yeah. It's funny, some of the stuff I was sharing. Who's that artist you've been posting a lot lately, Johnny? Punto 66 or something like that, or
I don't know his. Let me find his real name. Like I backed the Kickstarter.
I was sharing some of his stuff, and because of Instagram, my posts go straight to
Facebook.
To Facebook, and I got flagged on Facebook for inappropriate. But one of them was a girl breasted, and I think she had like a cross. So it was like nudity with some religious aspects to it, and I think there was probably some religious nut probably.
That's who came after me on Facebook, got me banned, dude. Like you don't want to piss Christians off on Facebook, bro.
Yeah, they never had a problem with any of my figure drawings or anything before. Like this is a new development, like in the last week, and I just just throwing my hands up. They seem to go on like phases where they're like more puritanical. Meta in general just goes like phases where they'll crack down on nudity, then they'll loosen it up, and they'll crack down, and like maybe they'll like flag you for something you posted like a year or two ago. Like I stopped archiving my stories because they started flagging like memes I posted like 2 years before, and it's just like, what the fuck are we doing here, guys?
And I slapped together one last little video while we were chatting because I didn't have time to put it together before because I had to. We had Shlepzig on 3.5 times.
Yeah, 3.5 times.
So I went through like 6 hours of episodes and just clipping stuff. So I have one last one. Shlepzig, if anything, he was a family man, and he liked teasing his wife and his kids, and he kind of talks about it a little bit with us sometime there. And just being a dad, doing dad things. So I have a video of some of the stories he shared.
Of the Pinkie Pie Velvet Underground shirt. What costume should the poor girl wear to all tomorrow's parties? Who knew the Velvet Underground and My Little Pony would mesh so perfectly? But they did. It's really cool. And it's kind of weird. It's one of my 11-year-old daughter's favorite shirts, running around with psychotic Pinkie Pie and Velvet Underground lyrics on. But sure, why not? So the story is that I've been threatening to do like a semi-erotic, hyper-violent supernatural nun cosplay when I go to cons, just to embarrass my daughter no end. I don't know. I'm a goofy guy. I joke around a lot. My wife is incredibly funny. So we're both like two very funny people. Together, we're hilarious because, yeah, we've got a whole kind of chemistry shtick that comes out of it. People just love to have us over for dinner. Thursday was just like eating Advil and moaning to my wife about how much everything hurts. And her telling me to, like, you did this to yourself. Stop complaining. You chose this life. You deserve it. Suffer, you bastard. Which is part of our dynamic. It's the great thing there. Just living in this house with my wife, who's much smarter than me, is always giving me a hard time, ribbing me, and sometimes I'm the straight man, sometimes she's the straight man, and is harassing each other. If we're not harassing our daughters or long-suffering daughters, we only have one left in the house now. The other one is graduated and moved out, and then the oldest is long gone. She's 30 now, so
got quite a gap between your youngest and your oldest.
It's every 10 years is sort of
every 10, yeah.
Every 10 is sort of the plan. So we'd be due for another one, but 30 years of diapers is enough. And my daughter came to visit, which is always a joy. She's in Canada, so fantastic having a week with her in the house. And I draw and play video games with my youngest.
Oh, which game?
Yeah, she's been itching to kick my ass in Mario Kart. She got a Switch for Christmas, so she's been Animal Crossing and Mario Karting for days now. Well, I've got to bail, guys. I've got New Year's stuff to do with the family, and I hear 11-year-old chaos ensuing. But it was great seeing you guys.
Yeah. And his wife is in the chat again with the heart, and yes, they were always funnier together. I am so sorry for your loss, Catherine. Like, I can't even begin to know how you are feeling here, but just know that your husband was loved by a lot of other people too. Like, he meant something to us, and we will severely miss him. I already do. He was the second guy to give us the time of day to come on here and talk to us, and he kind of taught us a lot about how to actually interview people too. He was very patient with us. We were very amateur. We were very basic back then, and he was lovely. You know what I mean? He really was, in all sense of the word. And
yeah, and and I think he made everyone's life a little better that he was friends with and interacted with. He was a very giving person, and like to share the joys of his life with everyone else, and always had the time of day for anyone that was willing to sit down and chat, and so yeah.
And yeah, I think we kind of said what we had to say, huh, Joe?
Yeah. There was one small clip I forgot to throw in there. Was the comic book he made for his daughter when she went to summer camp, the Tigra comic, or what was it called? Anyway, the Panther. He made a little comic for his daughter when she went off to camp. Yeah, and he sent her that to camp. So that's the type of stuff he did. Loved his family, loved his daughters, and was always thinking of them and doing stuff for them, fun stuff like that. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's sad when you lose good people, and he'll be missed. And like to thank everyone who kind of tuned in and shared this with us. And I actually have a few people that couldn't be here.
Oh, that's right. We have a
that
couple
that couldn't be here, but like Richard Morgan, Shlepzig did some work for Richard, and instead of payment, they bartered for comics and stuff like that. So
when you guys asked me to come on here, I thought maybe there'd be a few other people on here. I'm a little embarrassed because I didn't really know much about him. Learned everything about him today, and He's a loving family man and very passionate about art and comics and sharing his love for life and all the different things that he loved. And yeah, it's a real shame that he passed. I'm very sorry for his family, and my deepest condolences to them.
Yeah. So I'll read what Richard wrote for me. I first contacted Sam when I saw his art. I was totally drawn to his drawing style. Sam did this most incredible piece for me for my Blam and Glam. He did it as a trade for issues 1 through 8 of Blam and Glam was Richard's series. He really loved drawing Blam and Glam, and I remember lengthy discussions about making his comics.
Blam and Glam.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put on my glasses. I'm getting old. A little blurry. Yeah, he once said to me, putting together and making books on a regular basis is 5 full-time jobs. And he was totally right. I don't know if Sam read all of the 8 issues in the end. I hope he did, and I hope he enjoyed them. I've still got this piece to this day he did, and it's amazing to share. Blaze on, my friend. I hope you're battling making cool comics in another dimension. Richard Morgan. Mm-hmm. And we also have Matt King wanted to be here, but he had previous engagements.
Yeah, writer of Tales to Enlighten.
Yeah, the writer for Tales to Enlighten, which Sam did some work on. And
yeah,
Matt,
I was showing that off earlier.
Yeah. And Matt wrote a little thing here. Let me scroll. Where is it? Okay, right here. He appreciated all the work that he did, and he said it was a real honor and pleasure to actually meet Sam in person at IC3 was the convention back in March, and he's grateful to have been able to meet him, and loved all the work he did on the book, and is eternally grateful for knowing him and collaborating with him. So yeah, that's what Matt had to say about Sam, and he is really happy that he got to meet him at a convention, and yeah, and we saw the work he did on Tales to Enlighten, and that his kindness is the only thing that outweighed his talent, and I think that's what he'll be remembered for by many, and a lot of his loved ones as well.
Yeah, he seemed like a really sweet man.
Yep, he was. He was really, really sweet. Yeah. So yeah, thanks to everyone, and yeah, he'll be missed, and hopefully he'll live on in everyone's memories, and through his work, you could still, have a little piece of him with you.
And to the family members in the chat, like, we cannot begin to understand the way you guys feel, but we do miss him, and we did love him. So thank you for being here too. That means the world to us, because, and thank you. That's all I got to say.
All right. So have a good night, everyone, and God bless, and hug the ones you love.
Yes.